everybody,
Nice
and
glasses,
welcome.
Trav.
Yeah, right. Hello, everyone, and welcome.
I'm not gonna get smudges on my glasses.
I just realized. Oh man, wait, no, I'm the only
I'm
one
too
without
cool.
glasses. Okay, here you go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to
There you
Join the
go.
Anarchy,
Hello.
the interactive and improvised Shadowrun Anarchy campaign here live on Twitch on the Shadowcasters network.
Yes.
Ding!
For the first time since
Oh man, yeah.
That's
so
forever
2018,
ago.
maybe? I don't even remember.
I think
right.
so.
No,
So-
early January.
First time in forever.
Yeah, for those of you who are unaware, we've had a long string of weird technical difficulties with, I don't know what exactly. It was like a mixture of weird Discord updates plus me swapping to a new computer plus, I don't know. So,
Just everything.
Whatever.
Discord's having problems.
yeah,
There were injuries in the middle of it. There were
audio.
technical
yeah.
difficulties that just popped up out of nowhere after updates. It was just crazy.
It
But we're
was
here.
nuts. Exactly.
We're here.
So finally, we're back on track. We're ready to get started. And
Yes.
Yay!
I think we need a major recap.
Yes. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Before our recap, can I show everybody something?
Yes.
I'm really
yes.
excited about?
Do it.
Yes.
Do it.
Okay. Check this out.
It's amazing.
Yes.
It's so cool.
I love that.
So excited. I'm so excited about it.
I'm more jealous of your Andromeda Initiative hoodie that I tried to order
thanks.
while I was in Australia, and then they took a month to say, we're out of stock. Fuck yourself. Right.
This was from the husband over Christmas.
I
Yeah.
wish I had a husband that gave me stuff.
Well, I can't say it's a bad deal. I can't.
My husband tried to buy one for me, and it just didn't work. So.
Aw.
Womp. Well, yeah. Why don't we just like shoot the shit for like, I don't know, 5 minutes just to kind of like get ourselves a little
Yeah.
warmed up and say hi to our audience and just happy to be back and starting all of this, right?
Yes. Indeed.
So
Hey,
so-
Nick, you're quite. Fuck you.
So in the month and a half, 2 months that we've, I don't know how it's been. We've canceled like 3 shows back to back. In that time, what would you say are some fun, interesting developments or things that you've done with your lives? Yeah,
Well,
All right,
the hair.
you guys go because mine's
The
super
hair.
short.
sure, cool.
I've had a stressful couple of months. So and this stuff is my like stress release. RPGs are my stress release. So I've missed us.
I totally feel you on that. I've had a stressful. I generally live a relatively stressful life, and so when I get to like, it added to the layer of stress where I'm like, I can't get this stream up. I want to be de-stressed, and this is
Yeah,
stressing me
yeah.
out. So
Exactly.
It's
Yeah,
rough.
I don't know. Nothing really exciting happened in my life. I just missed you all and all of you in chat. And we have some new people.
I know lots of new people. I don't want to name names.
We're new-ish
I'm not gonna
people.
call
New-ish
I'm not going to
people.
call anyone out, but thank you and welcome.
But you
Yes.
know who you are.
Mhm.
You know what you
And you belong. Welcome.
I know what you did last summer.
What? Okay, so
What's about that, huh?
Yeah.
So interesting
That's
things
better,
that
Travis.
I've been up to. I played the Sprawl RPG for the first time this
How's that?
weekend. I got to game master it. Well, we mainly did a lot of world creation because in that one you get to create your cyberpunk world that you then play inside of. And we created a very interesting like sprawl that was nuked in the center, and all of the corporations are like different city enclaves that have like their own styles, and like each corporation based on like what it is that they're about has like their rich people and then the gutter, and the gutter is themed to whatever it is. So like the people that are doing like water and nuclear energy, the people on the gutter, they can't they're supposed to be, it's supposed to be like clean energy stuff, but then like all these other people are like fucking and dying. There's the food and production people. They actually use the people in the gutter for food. So like you can sell your arm to the corporation so that they can grind it up into meat for you can get money to feed your family.
Sweet. With my arm. Why don't I just grind up my own arm and feed it to my family?
Doesn't your arm have so much monetary value? Like, in what case would it be like, this arm's not going to make me any more money?
I think every limb.
like even like digits? Like, man.
It kind of
Well,
reminds
it's
me
either
of
you
this,
could
like,
sell it
horror
willingly
movie.
or they could just take it from you.
Okay, well, if those are my options, I mean, different
Kind of
ball
reminds
game.
me of Snowpiercer.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't use limbs, I don't think, for food. They used bugs.
Yeah.
Spoiler
Yeah,
alert.
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Is that a big
Good
spoiler?
movie. Good
Lots of people
movie.
eat
Watch
bugs.
it.
So,
Well, they grind it up into like protein bars for the people who work on the train because they're on this train because basically the second ice age started or some shit, and this train is like to keep everyone warm, and the people in the back of the caboose are told that they're the ones keeping this train moving, and then spoiler alert, they're not the only ones on the train. The people in front are in bougie luxury places with like sushi and shit, and then they find like a grinder that they grind up like bugs and shit for food for them to eat.
the people in the
It's
back.
a really
Isn't
good
it like the
movie,
further
dark.
the further up you move in the train, the more progressively richer
Uh-huh.
the yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
So-
further you move up, the further it gets better.
Right.
Quote, unquote.
Right. So
Captain America's in it. Watch it.
yeah. I haven't seen that movie. I've always wanted to though. So now I keep hearing
Yeah,
about
don't
it.
need
same.
So now I don't need to. No, I'm
You know,
pretty
it's
sure I
not-
still do.
Silent
Anyway.
green is people. Sorry, spoilers.
So I did that. My friend made me this shirt, which I'm excited to finally wear. It's backwards on the
Yes!
stream. It says "Beware the Smiling Dungeon Master" with a big
Oh,
G20
that's
on it.
amazing. I love it.
And let me see what else. Chicago Chaos, for those of you. I mean, I've like in our interim streams where we're like placeholdering content, I announced it, but now that we're like unofficial Join the Anarchy episode, Chicago Chaos, the new Shadowrun Anarchy supplement, has finally released, and I contributed. I was a consultant, and I helped make a bunch of shadow amps and qualities and stat blocks for the book.
So if I look in the book, is your name in the back? Or the front?
Okay, so I was supposed to be credited.
You were
It got
supposed
missed. It got
And it got-
missed.
I
It
would
got
be
missed
pissed.
in the current content, in the current edition. I think they're trying to catch it in time for the print version. But it should definitely be there for the revised PDF version. Yeah.
Aw.
So yeah, lots
Too bad.
of really cool stuff in there. Some stuff that we are already using here on Join the Anarchy, such as Fritz's Technomancer sprites.
Yes.
So we got to
Yeah.
make them a fish, which I'm excited about. Couldn't get a lot of blood magic stuff in there though.
I was gonna say.
No, I couldn't get any blood magic in. Sorry.
They want
Next supplement.
blood magic free
Next supplement.
supplement.
Did you put
Looks
in
like
the
only one of us
ability
is truly
to...
canon.
Did you add the ability to become all cyber? Because I mean that was already a thing.
No.
But I want to be relevant.
You could already become all cyber.
It's true. Yeah, you just die.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Then aren't you
I
just
am
like a robot?
this close to becoming a zombie thing.
Dead.
Well, they do
Just
have
be dead.
the book does have a cyber zombie stat block for GMs to use against you.
Yay!
Yay! So anyway, yeah. So lots of really cool things, and also I'm working on helping a bunch of new shows on the Shadowcasters network. We had a. I don't really want to get into the whole shitstorm of what's been going on the past week in the tabletop industry, but
Yeah, no kidding.
but essentially all of our Pathfinder and Starfinder content, basically anything that was Paizo, we decided to basically just drop. So Shattered Isles has developed its own D20 system. Thank God they had something. And then Starfinder basically said, you know what? Screw this. Let's play a Song of Ice and Fire. So now they're playing a game set in Westeros. For
Oh,
Game of
fun!
Yes, they're going to be playing a
That's
Dornish.
awesome.
They're going to be playing a Dornish family, which I'm very
Amazing.
excited about.
I love how you.
That's a
you
cool
said thank
location.
God for that for Shattered Isles. Have you
Right.
seen our last stream? We literally went over our rules and everything and started remaking our characters.
At first, I thought it was a mistake. I'm like, wait a minute, why aren't Cassie and Max on, like, showing their face? And I was like, oh, this is because it was just like stat blocks throughout the whole stream, and I was like, what's happening here? And then I watched them, like, okay. So anyway, so that's what's going on. But then we also have a bunch of other, in addition to getting the new Song of Fire and Ice up, we also have 2 new shows coming up this March. One of which is going to be GM'd by Scrim. So
Hey, me!
yeah. And hooked her up with one of my friends from my actual tabletop game, Sabrina, who is going to be a player in her game. So
I'm very excited. I'm very excited.
I'm also there.
you are also
Yes.
there. Yes, Paige is also there.
Paige will also be there.
Yes.
Did you guys hear
Yeah.
something?
This
So-
It's alright, I don't care.
this particular game, it's gonna bring 3 of my loves together, which is history, RPGs, and strong female characters. So, because they're all strong and they're all female.
You said that like, oh, smooth. I love the way you said it. They're all strong, independent women.
Just
I
love
am
it.
very, very, very excited.
Which I mean,
So
yes,
definitely
all
check
of
that
it.
out. That's
Super
gonna
pumped.
premiering-
It'll be in a few weeks.
yeah, March 20th, correct? Wednesday, March
March
20th.
20th is correct.
Yes.
Yes.
So get excited. But you know what else we should get excited about? Join the Anarchy. So let's just go ahead and transition here, right? So Join the Anarchy. We are, as we've stated, we are interactive. We're improvised. We have no idea what we're doing, more or less. We know how to play the game. We don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be great. And that's because mainly we leave a lot of decisions up to the audience. So one thing I do want to say, though, is I want to start making it a point, especially for the people that have been in the stream for a while, to find ways to kind of bring back elements from previous episodes so that we can start kind of creating some more circles, connecting strings, right? Because the further, like, the more that we keep adding on, the harder it is to, like, collect the plot. I can handle it, it's fine, but I'm seeing that there's shaping happening now in this story that I'm really digging. So I want to see, like, how much more. I have a bunch of, I told you guys, I have, like, this crazy conspiracy map going on right now, and I want to just keep adding onto it.
Yes, amazing. That sounds
Yeah, it's
amazing.
basically
Puzzle
if
pieces
chat
together.
you gave us Play-Doh and he just dumped them all out and then just started mushing them all together, and now he's finding the color that he actually likes. That's what's happening.
Gorgeous,
Great
gray
metaphor.
goop.
Thank you.
Simile is good.
So,
Oh, god damn it. Everyone made a joke before me. I was gonna say, like, Oz is the picture of, oh, fuck, I forget his name. But the guy from fucking, It's Always Sunny, where he has, like, the
Charlie
board.
Day?
And he's talking about Pepe Sylvia. Yeah, Charlie Day. And how he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's Oz trying to keep together what the fuck we've done so far.
Yep, pretty much. That's how I feel about every single RPG I've ever played.
yeah. Okay, so previously on Join the Anarchy, our runners, I mean, man, you guys have been through a lot, but to catch up sort of to, like, what's going on now, there's always been this looming question from Voltar's father, who is the director of biotech for Ares. That is said. I mean, the whole reason that this team is even together was because I need a team that you can trust for Phase 2. And he's always been very vague about what Phase 2 is. This has been going on since, like, Episode 1. We're on our 20th episode, by the way, 20th episode anniversary. Woo! And so finally, she went up to her father and said, "Yeah, I trust my team. What the fuck is Phase 2?" And finds out that Phase 2 is a bug extermination job. Actually, specifically, he wants to target an insect queen. in the Chicago quarantine zone. Now, that would be dandy for Voltar, except when she brought it to the team was like, specifically Fritz, how much am I getting paid for that? Because that sounds like bullshit. Like, A, I don't want to do it. B, I don't trust you, you're Aries. And yeah, so basically, in negotiations, there were a lot of threats that were kind of thrown back and forth between "I'ma hack you" and "Don't try me. Don't try me because what's going to come down on you is going to be serious. I'm going to reveal that you're a technomancer and your buddy's a blood mage." And like he
knew everything.
Yeah, negotiations were Well, I mean, again, there's definitely. He's a well-connected individual, but you guys have met lots of well-connected individuals. And so the question is, who's talking to who's working with and who's working against each other. So it's interesting things, but so Fritz is currently in Berlin. He's hanging out at the Cruise Bazaar, the Cafe Sesvi, and Voltar and Deliverance are over in Detroit, and they currently meeting with a smuggler who works with Ares and basically offered to. He's basically the guy that knows how to get people into Chicago. So don't know his name yet, but he's interesting character with like cyber eyes that glow while he speaks, and like just like this hood and what you buying kind of
pretty much
kind of feel.
He smells like soup.
It smells like soup. What kind of soup are we talking about? Minestrone, tomato bisque?
Chat, what soup?
Yes.
I mean, that's Anarchy.
Clam chowder.
That's how we
We
roll.
give you important plot points to figure out.
So
What
actually,
soup does he smell like?
right? And speaking of which, so chat, one of your main roles here is you can basically just keep talking and shouting out suggestions, and every time that we like one of your suggestions, we can take it, add it into our swamp cabbage soup, add it into our plot basically, and you get a plot point. I'm sorry, we get a plot point.
We get a plot point,
Which we can use for in-game benefits. You get a raffle ticket for our drawing today.
yes.
We're gonna have
At
a drawing.
last.
We're finally gonna have a drawing. The competition was supposed to be heavier, given that there were supposed to be like 3 episodes prior to this, but that just means more chances to win. And the drawing is for $25 on DriveThruRPG, which is enough to buy yourself a copy of Shadowrun Anarchy and Chicago Chaos, because everything on DriveThruRPG Shadowrun is like on sale. Chicago Chaos is like $8. So even if you don't win tonight, go out and buy Shadowrun. Go buy Chicago Chaos for like $8.
Do it.
Yeah, totes do it. In addition, we also have our stream boss. Every time that you guys help the channel in any way, donations, cheerings, subscribings, and followings. Right. HP gets knocked down, and if you're the one that knocks the final bit of HP off of the stream boss, you become the stream boss. And the final stream boss, well, every time the stream boss is defeated, we all get a point of edge. And the final stream boss at the end of the night gets to create an NPC with me. And I know this was a while ago, last episode's stream boss was Mr. Stonebender, who decided to further embellish the smuggler that you are meeting with.
Okay.
Nice.
Now, I think that's the best recap I can give of the current situation. However, I think everyone else should also introduce their characters. So let's start with Fritz.
Yo, what up? It's your boy Fritz. The German elf technomancer with a lot of PhDs, and is probably in his age as sore as I am right now. So he's
Method
he's
acting.
currently, chilling in his hometown of Berlin.
Sound like a villain.
Berlin is a town now rather than a city. But
Metropolis.
No, it's a city.
Yeah,
It's for sure
he's
a
like-
sprawl.
he's like, you know what? why go talk to megalomaniacs in person when you can just project yourself into their subconscious all the way from the other side of the world? So he's sitting having a cuppa, as they say it, not in Berlin.
No, as they say in The Bodyguard.
Yeah.
Is that where you got it from? Yeah. What a cuppa?
Is it say what?
From The Bodyguard? Yeah, that's where we started hearing it from.
I've started hearing it from the entire country of Australia.
Oh,
I didn't.
Don't they say that in the UK too?
Yeah, they do.
I think it is. I think it's a very
Well, Bodyguard was a
United
UK
Kingdom
show,
and Australia. Australia is just drunk British people. So it's funny.
You know, that really does make sense.
Yeah.
Drunk following
Give it a
you.
tissue.
It's an island full of convicts. All they had to do was drink and farm, and now they slur everything they say. It's not a joke. It's history.
No.
I know. That's why I'm laughing, because it's true. Oh,
We love you, Australia. All right. And tell me, what would you say is one of the most unique, interesting things about Fritz's current plot line?
The thing is that the most unique trait is the fact that he's still sort of an enigma information-wise, and also that he's kind of drifting now because he nuked his fucking bunker in Detroit. I have to stop using swear words as adjectives so much. But he nuked his bunker in Detroit, and is now
You do you, boo.
theoretically homeless. But how can you be homeless when you're
In the
you're
shadows.
always home?
The shadows are your home.
You're
Yeah.
always
Well,
home.
he's in. I
In
think
the
he meant
Matrix?
because he's in German, like Germany.
Yeah, he's
like
German.
he's home, not like
He's in the country of German.
Welcome to German.
This
Right next
is
to
gonna be a
Paul.
good session for me, guys. I
right,
can't fucking speak.
Next intro is Paige, who plays Voltar.
Hi, that's me. Hi, I'm Paige. I play Voltar. A Street Sam. She's completely cybered. She's completely cybered chick Street Sam person that works for Ares. She kicks people with her legs. I'm so sorry. I'm crying.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I have.
She's the metal and kicking lady. Yeah.
Yeah, she basically, I have firearms, I have stealth, I have blah blah blah. She's completely cyber. She has a very monotone robotic voice, which I don't want to do right now, but I will when I'm role playing her. But just cause.
Yeah.
And she has estimate sticks that she can beat people with.
Cool. Yeah. Totes.
Are you gonna ask me what my
No.
favorite?
Oh yeah. What's an interesting thing going on besides? Sorry, I'm just like. Nah. No. Okay.
I'm
Fine.
okay with that.
No. What was something else that's going on in your story? Because we basically kind of covered the big plot thing, but like, what's something that you find is interesting about her current storyline?
What I find interesting is that Voltar has been having these memory visions of past events in her life, and I won't spoil anything for people who are new here, but we might just do it nonchalantly. Voltar is not really Voltar. She's something else entirely, or she was. And
I think you could say it. I mean, we all know now. Or
Okay.
rather,
Yeah,
well, Fritz and Deliverance, I don't
revealed.
think know, but Voltar in the audience knows.
yeah.
I'm sorry, audience. It's episode 20. You got some catching up to do,
That's,
fam.
yeah, that's true. Get your shit together. No, Voltar was once Voltar was once a man named William Victor Colton, and she was created as a female, as a cyber warrior, to be more likable. That's why her gender has changed, because women are more warm-hearted and like approachable than a man. They're usually intimidating,
Supposedly.
especially, yeah. And she has been practically brainwashed by her father to do whatever he basically gives her. If he gives her a mission, she's supposed to not ask any questions and just go for it. And she's been pretty much doing that until she met this team.
Yeah.
And now she's questioning things. She's gotten into fights with her father. That's what I find interesting. The interesting part is just the memories, because those are stuff that I actually haven't planned. That's just stuff Oz is throwing at me where I have to go, this is because of this.
Right. And to note, just to add on to that, it wasn't just the change of your gender was not also just because it was like what you said was an added benefit, but mainly he Colton admitted that he realized that you were already like on the inside that you were trans, right? That you wanted to become a female anyway. And after the very traumatic experiences that you had in the Chicago quarantine zone, which you were rescued from and had like complete fucking mental breakdown, shutdown, he decided that, you know, he just needed to rebuild you from the ground up. And this is what came out.
Yes and no.
So
Mulder
it's
never
like
really wanted to.
Right? It was like this weird...
It was
It's
one of those things where
non-consensual. It's gross.
No,
yeah,
it wasn't.
that's the impression I got. Yeah,
it wasn't. Even if I do want there to be a dramatic moment with Volter deciding what she wants to be, but moral of the story, I think what I like to think it is because Victor, Volter in the past, and I guess still now, but she's dead. She had a twin basically in the past, and she died. Or supposedly died in Chicago. And so what I like to think is that while Colton was making Voltar, he was like, you know what? I'm going to keep my son, but make him a female to keep my daughter. So that's what I think. That's one of the things. Which
that is fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Either way that you slice it, there's a lot of ethical questions and grossness.
An excellent family drama.
Yeah.
Terrible family drama.
I'm very happy with my character that I morphed and that Oz morphed as well.
You think your family's crazy?
Deliverance.
My dad used me to replace my sister.
Yep, that's Voltar.
Yep. So Deliverance, how about you?
Deliverance. Well, Deliverance, the core tenet of her life is that she is a Christian, and that is the most important part of her identity. And she spent a long time pushing away her old self and ignoring it and running from it. But it has come back with a vengeance in the last few months. She's her blood magic talents have reemerged. As well as very recently her brother. And she's still processing all this and seeing how she can manage the precipice of addiction that comes along with using blood magic, while being a mother to 3 children, and a wife to a UCAS Master Sergeant. And Grayman asks a good question. Is her Christianity above her family? I would say she would tell you yes, but when push comes to shove, probably not.
That's good to know. All right. So I say, since it's been a while, the note that we ended on was you guys were talking to the smuggler. His name, by the way, is Dingo. Dingo, and that's D1NG0. Dingo.
D1NG0.
God damn it! I was thinking the same thing. And Dingo was his name.
Now, he generally laid out all of the stakes in terms of, you know, the offer is 10 karma for this job, plus some on-loan assets that Ares is willing to offer for you to accomplish your mission. And also the final line that there is a bug hive on its way to Detroit. Detroit, which, by the way, has been like thrown into absolute chaos because Ares has announced that they are moving their headquarters, basically just completely uprooting and moving to Atlanta in the Cass, which essentially means that Detroit, history repeating itself, like in the Fifth World, which had all of its eggs in one basket, one corporation, right, that helped its economy boom, is basically uprooting and is going to leave the whole city to just rot. Yeah. So there's like riots everywhere.
There were like bomb threats in Ares facilities and buildings.
Yeah.
People were publicly executed in the lobby room of Ares headquarters.
Yep.
Fun, cute stuff.
Fun, cute stuff.
Yeah.
Ziggy's
family show.
Yeah, Ziggy, the troll shadowrunning philosopher, the pirate broadcaster that we all know and love. His message is basically just being pumped, or like bits of his messages are being pumped through co-opted speaker systems throughout the city. Things like, information is free, but freedom is not free. Or remembered the flux state. Or, what is for sure, though, is that we all gotta fight. Every scrap of freedom we can get, we gotta grasp it. Go forth. And so, like, all of these different messages are being put out, whilst also being put next to a hacktivist group that has appeared, anonymous hacktivist group, masks, that call themselves Motown, that are calling out Ares for various crimes against Detroit and humanity. So it's good stuff, as well as various conspiracy theories that they're like throwing out there, including like alliance with bugs and trying to, co-opt the military, warmonger, etc. So that's great. I think because you already kind of spoken with Dingo about the basics, there's kind of a bigger conversation, right? And this was something that we were talking about after the last session a few months ago.
A few months ago.
Yeah. That Colton has escalated. And basically, he has threatened to reveal something about you. And you could either take this job, which is, by all, like, insect queens have a reputation, like, that is a suicide mission. I mean, you'll do it for the money. It's good money. And, like, you could get away with it. And if Ares is giving you stuff, you have a chance, right? But the question is, do you trust him enough to follow up on this job properly the way that you've done other jobs, or do you need to get leverage against Colton?
I think that was the thing that was brought up privately, and I have the idea because we met up with him, and I was just gonna have us all in character have a discussion, because Fritz wants to have a discussion with Voltar, and also Deliverance hasn't even gotten to like voice her opinion on the whole thing yet, so that is also a thing.
Yeah, I think we need to meet up at a coffee house that's not on fire.
Yeah. So you all can meet in I know. Why don't we meet in I'll spend the plot point for it. Why not? You guys meet in the bowling alley, the Matrix bowling alley.
All right.
Yes. I love that place. Is that my picture up there? Because I won the championship with.
Yes, of course. Yeah, you all see Voltar's like wireframe face, like a 3D modeling of her face. That's just like a bust that's like rotating in the current bowling champion.
As they get in there, the first person who ever walks up, now even if it's just a random NPC or whatever, she just goes, "That's me," very proudly. Like, I did that.
It's like wireframe low detail, so she stands next to it. She's like, "Huh?" And everyone's like,
"You see?
Oh, okay, yeah." Fritz is still in Berlin.
Yes, so
but
you're
he's
in the Matrix, so whatever.
He's there with them, but he's like not there.
And I think Deliverance is going to leave the base to find a connection to get into this, because nothing she does on the Ares base is private. So she's going to make some excuse to Sergeant Abraham and somehow get out. I guess it's kind of hard at this point.
Going out with the girls.
We all just got a
Right?
point of
Like,
edge.
which girls? Thanks, Cole.
Thanks,
Cole.
Cole.
Cole's
Nice.
our new stream boss. Okay,
Does
so
that mean we get things?
yeah, we all get a point of
Yes.
edge.
Yeah, point of edge.
Ooge. We get some ooge.
Huge.
Yes. Ooh, this is a new eraser.
Now,
on my
Cole, you just
pencil.
have to keep it for the rest of the stream.
Don't let anyone else.
They steal it from you. So one thing I will say that I wanted to throw in, Deliverance, a new, an entire, like as you're leaving the base, you're seeing just like trucks and jeeps and all kind, like this whole convoy of new soldiers with Ares logos on the side coming into the base, and essentially like all of the UCAS military is lined up to receive them, and they seem to be guests of importance.
And I think seeing this, Deliverance's mouth goes dry, and I think she probably would head out on sort of what would be like a regular kind of thing. Mostly they're probably not allowed to leave, but you know, they've got some kind of bus that keeps them safe, and they go and shop or something in a non-military space, but she's going to kind of sneak away. So she's with a bunch of other military spouses, and she sees all these, like, the Centurion logo going past, and is kind of like, oh god.
So yeah. All right. That was the one note I wanted to make for now.
Oh, you guys.
That
oh,
wasn't
you guys.
suspicious.
I'm real.
That's the one note
did
I
I
wanted
make
to
a-
do right now.
Why did I make a PC with kiddos? Yeah, and I think when she comes in, she's like a generic outline. She doesn't matrix very well, so she's like a generic one that comes default. So it's like a superhero, like Superman or something. She like
Nice.
picked it out of she was like, sure.
Yeah.
That looks good.
Superman.
Yeah, one of the
Walter
standard
looks-
50 choices that you can
Yeah.
you can pick.
Yep. Voltar's icon, if I remember, is actually the Spartan from Ares. So yeah, you'll see another Sentinel.
All right, so you find yourselves at the at bowling lane number 7, and you have basically your own private. Like, even though you see a bunch of other people bowling next to you, you are all cut off from each other communication-wise.
It's like a party chat basically.
Yeah.
And everything.
There's just a track in the background of bowling sounds.
Yes, bowling sounds and like murmuring that doesn't actually, like, if you were to listen in on, doesn't
Yep.
mean
Clink, clink,
anything.
clink, clink, clink.
Yep.
Yay!
That's good. That's good. You know what? Keep that.
I'll just keep going do it the whole time. Okay.
Just do it very far away from here, Mike.
Yeah. So what do y'all think of this this job?
It is
The-
interesting. Go ahead, Trev.
Just the AR display of Fritz is kind of all over the place. It's not really like sitting down anywhere. Right now, it's mostly kind of pacing back and forth, but it doesn't really move as much as it does like have a bunch of like still like poses of itself. So like it'll be speaking and it'll kind of just switch between things as it does. And right now, it's kind of like twitching back and forth with his hands behind his back. And it turns and says, "There is further communication required between the three of us before anything can go further."
Am I to understand that we are being blackmailed into this job? And she's just staring directly at Voltar, but it's Superman.
Yeah.
I am Superman.
At which point, I will say, Voltar, I wanna have a quick like little cutaway kind of flashback
Go for it.
of like just a line that Copper Colton dropped to you and basically said, "I expect better. Get your team in line."
Great. Thanks, Dad.
Helpful management style.
Delegating.
It isn't really blackmail. It's more of a threat. At least that's how I took it. I don't like to see it that way, however.
You
He
don't
is
like to see it that
paying
way
us.
because it is not involving you, Volta.
He is paying us 10 karma. I think that is enough.
But,
And I don't know if that threat would involve me.
Maybe I may be metagaming. Did he threaten to release information about us? And do we know that?
He told
Definitely.
He told it to Fritz and Voltar when he was in the room. He basically was like, if
Yeah.
you do anything, I could bring the full fury of Ares down
Right.
upon you, and I will show everyone that you're a technomancer and you're a blood mage.
Because he knew I was a blood mage, yeah.
Yeah, which
both of which have like
I'd-
very high bounties. Just just
I'd like
any
to
of that
say,
coming out is like
Yeah.
I'd like to point out, Voltar didn't say anything about that to him. He made
He just
sure
knew,
that she
yeah.
never said that, like, oh, my teammate's a blood mage
Wow.
or my teammate's a technomancer.
well, maybe that's
She
a
never said that.
conversation to be
Players.
had amongst the team because
Right. We as players know that, but the characters may or
Oh,
may not.
definitely.
Yeah,
You
I
might
think
come
I
into
would probably
question now.
assume, yeah.
So yeah, Fritz will like when Voltar starts explaining that, Fritz is very very slowly it twitches over just to look at Deliverance. And then it will sit. But the thing is it's like it's still like nowhere near a chair, but it goes into a seated position. And then it goes up and starts rubbing its eyes, and then it kind of cut to Berlin where it's actually something like 3 a.m. Because here in Detroit, I'm assuming it's something like where it's like
afternoon.
evening, maybe. Because it's still much later. Yeah, he kind of rubs his eyes and looks at Voltar and says, "This is the communication we need to have. There is a lot on the line here with Deliverance especially, but yes, also me. The price I was asking was not for the benefit of myself. I wasn't trying to pull a mercenary bargaining chip. You have to understand the situation this has put us in. Deliverance has a family, and it's very dangerous for us to be working with someone who is as desperate as your father is. As quickly as he pulled out the threat to release information about the two of us, shows how desperate of a man he really is. And if he is, then that spells very dangerous situations for the two of us.
Let's say that we do this job. Let's say that we survive. What's stopping him from asking us to do another suicide mission? What's stopping him from turning us into Ares anyway? What? He has all the power in this situation. I can't do anything about it. Out of the frying pan into the fire, I guess.
There is one thing that is in between him and you two.
And what's
that's
that?
me. Do you honestly think, Deliverance, that I would harm your family or let harm come to them? Or even Fritz? I do not know your family, or if you have any, or your home. From all I remember, it's... Yes, I do remember that. She was there. It's underground. Under rubble. I would do anything to help you find a home. I did not give Colton the information of your backgrounds. I knew that being a blood mage and technomancer was dangerous already. He must have known that from the beginning. Or have found that out later within my programming. Or something.
So this man who has gone out of his way to keep information from you, and if what you say is true, and he did know that from the start, he targeted two very sensitive individuals who could be sold to the highest bidder if they did not comply with him. This isn't some... He is your father, and he will always love you in whatever way a father loves their child. That does not mean he will not put a target on our backs and have us disposed of when this is done, especially now.
And,
If you are prepared to fight an entire corporation, I am sorry, Volta, but not even you.
And it sounds like what you're telling us is that your ties to us are stronger than to your father? I find that hard to believe, Voltar. You're a loyal teammate, but some relationships go deeper than that.
Were you... Do you remember the submarine?
Yeah.
We ran into somebody who called me something else besides Voltar.
Yeah, I figured you'd talk about that when you were ready.
I don't remember who he really was, but I remember training with him. And he called me two different names. Victor and William. I asked my father recently. It has been on my mind from that day. He revealed to me that I was this Victor and William. William Victor Colton. I was never this until a while ago. I don't remember anything else. Apparently, I had a sister that was in Chicago. The reason he is going after this spirit, or this bug, is because that thing caused us to go mentally insane. My sister apparently died, and I apparently lost my mind. I wasn't coherent. He had to do what was right in his eyes. And thus I became Voltar. He isn't fond of talking about it. And believe me, I have talked about it with him. you two are more of my family than he is. Believe that if you will or won't. Fritz, do you remember the day I contacted you asking you to dig into my father's background? Or even Ares' background?
Fritz kind of like leans back in the Matrix and looks at the archivist. And he's staring into the space. And he looks at the archivist and says, "Do you have information on that day?"
Which day? I'm sorry?
When Voltar asked Fritz to dig into her past.
Can you remind me, Voltar?
Yes.
when that was?
Episode 3, 2. It was very, very early on. It was when she had her first memory of her mother, and she was at that lake throwing skulls into throwing pebbles into the skulls.
Mhm.
And Colton said something suspicious, and Voltar asked Gage, and Gage was like, I only know this. And so she was like, that's it. That's enough. I'm done. And she asked Fritz, can you find information on my father and Ares? Basically, can you find information on Ares and the biotech corporation leader?
Right.
Boss?
Which I know, Trav, we went through a second time, so we have to kind of like go back in my chat. So let's see. Yeah, so you found on Copper.
Oh, no. See, I have the information in front of me. It was mostly just Fritz not having that log.
Oh, because
then it's gone.
That memory.
Right, because he has memory loss issues, his dementia.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Slowly.
That's right. That's also
creeping.
dementia.
Also,
Yeah, he looks at Archivist. And honestly, that may have been a detail that he didn't log, so Archivist may not actually know. But he'll
If you
like
unless you delete things off your comlink, it might be on your comlink still. It was in messaging form.
In the cloud.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, because back in the day, Fritz used to take video,
right,
and like do video diaries. So somewhere in his video diaries, he would have all of that information for sure.
He remembers the information. He just doesn't remember the day. But
I'd have
once
to watch.
they get that sorted,
I'd have to rewatch that episode or the second episode. But I'm sure that when you made that log, you said something similar to it. Yeah.
Yeah. But he kind of snaps back, and he says, let's see, Copper Colton, Ares Director of Biotechnology, currently divorced, with his wife and Victor's mother, Minerva Colton. Other than that, there's no specific knowledge on Copper, but Victor had one sibling, Victoria. He was trapped in the zone, the quarantine zone, with his sister. They were presumed dead. Victor was 19 at the time, and he had spent 9 years in the quarantine zone before a lapse of information, and then Volta was on public record afterward.
I never knew my mother's name.
Also, Fritz, the archivist drops a bonus file just out of nowhere that you had almost forgotten about. You had asked the archivist to research a specific someone, and the file is named Rolodex.
The name sounds familiar. And
Give me a memory test with your dementia.
like Fritz's dementia and then Travis's dementia.
Yeah, I was gonna
Right.
say that you're like.
I know this is perfect for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh wait,
This is
hold on.
perfect roleplaying.
Wait, hold on. Is it who I think it is? Is it?
I don't know. Roll
something-
a memory test. Just roll a memory test. Do it.
For fuck's sake! Is that logic?
Yeah, logic plus logic.
Logic plus logic.
Forgot he's German.
Fire fuck. Mother bitch.
I remember your
Hold on.
negatives.
So that's hold on. Number one, that's 0. I'm just gonna do an edge. Hey, thanks for the edge.
Thanks for the edge, guys.
Cole. Son of a bitch! You think you'd remember things better? All right, 3.
Oi, oi.
Three.
For fuck's sake.
Travis, can I just hire you as my Scottish maid that makes pies?
Oh my!
Or like Mrs. Doubtfire.
Glorious meat
almost.
pies. Do you need to re-roll anything because of the dementia, or is it just a minus 2 to your memory test?
Dementia must reroll 2 successes on memory tests.
Ah, yeah.
Zapatos, new way.
Oh, you still got him.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
We still got him.
Cool. So 3 successes. Yes. So Rolodex was named by Nomad. Nomad being
Right.
Deliverance's brother. He was
Right.
and Nomad was transitioned into the Rolodex persona, who is basically the AI that took over his body via CFD, the cognitive fragmentation disorder, that Nomad willingly infected himself with in order to become one of Rolodex's arms. And in order to find Deliverance and make sure that she was okay.
What was it? What was the nano disease? What was the
CFD.
CFD. I played one on TV. Wait, you said he infected his arm?
He infected himself.
He infected himself,
Right,
but his
to
arm...
become sorry. He became like an extension and like an arm of Rolodex, basically.
Oh, I
Metaphors.
was like, his arm has a different mind. Is this fucking Metal
No.
Gear Solid?
Idle hands. So yes.
If you got bullet points, I'm writing them down.
Right. So it takes you a moment to kind of like put 2 and 2 together, but finally you're like, yes, Rolodex. And when you open the file, you get the archivist speaking, saying, Rolodex. This was a quite difficult find, but was once a Neonet AI that Ares purchased. Ares purchased its source code for peanuts after Neonet was booted from the AAA, from the top 10 as a AAA megacorp. Rolodex is basically a system identification number assigner and an archive. So essentially, saying is that the AI is in charge of creating and databasing all of the different sins, basically the numbers that people live off of, that give them an identity in society. So think like your social security, basically, or your identification numbers. That you guys don't have because you're sinless.
Yeah.
And that was its job. It was reported that during the Neonet collapse, basically, it was one of the AIs that managed to get itself into the nanites that then broke out into Boston and then further broke out elsewhere. And basically, the core code of Rolodex acts as kind of like the head of this organization that hands out fake identities, sells them, basically for fortunes, but operates via all of these different people that it has infected.
Genius.
There was one detail I missed. It was a Neonet AI purchased by Ares for like nothing.
Peanuts.
What was?
Peanuts.
Yeah,
They were able to
but
get
it
it for a
was-
steal because
okay.
Neonet was crashing.
Okay, it was just purchased because at a low price because they were after the crash. Okay, gotcha.
So this affects Ares how?
It's just interesting. It's just interesting that Ares. It was originally Neonet. Ares purchased the source code.
And so, just to clarify, is Ares behind this manufacturing of fake sin?
You do not know.
It sounds like a third party. I'll send the information on Rolodex to Deliverance because of the circumstances.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, she and I think that's her first question. What stake does Ares have in this? Why are they involved?
That's information that we don't have yet, and I don't believe Volta would have been clued in on something like that either. It seems that information is being withheld from even her, so this is something I don't think from what I could ascertain from this, it's a third party organization that Rolodex has now become the head of. If I had to take a guess, I could be wrong, but
okay. This could be a pretty huge operation. I when I first met it, it was through another person, but I didn't really think anything of it. Okay. They're just, and she thinks back to the Ares buses pulling into the military space, and she thinks back to her childhood as a sinless person in a or adjacent to an Ares Zero zone. She and just seeing, like, she has all these like flashbacks of the Centurion, and just sort of a feeling like this has followed her entire life. It's almost like they wanted her daughter. They're here for her family's livelihood, and she has to sit down in the real world. Superman just sort of like twitches but stays standing with his cape flowing in the wind. But in real life, she's like, all right. Look, this job is insane. It's suicidal, and we're clearly disposable. But the alternative is probably worse.
Which is why I believe it is in our best interest to gather information on Copper Colton that he does not want being released as well, and making him aware at the appropriate time that this information is within our care, so that he can, in layman's terms, fuck off.
Out of character.
Mm-hmm.
I vaguely remember Voltar saying along the lines, "Are my teammates disposable?"
Mm-hmm.
What did he say?
Basically, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that.
I remember something like along that line, and I remember Voltar was like, "Well, am I disposable?" And he would basically said no.
He said no. He actually, he is telling you that he cares about you. The others are irrelevant. And he cares about this job.
He also told Fritz that they were because Fritz was basically like, we're not gonna just be expendable, and he's like, no, you are expendable because you're Shadowrunners. Yeah, my name's Copper.
Trying to get it.
And so he's pretty open about his ideology towards us.
Mm-hmm.
There's no real secret.
And I think a lot of that that attitude and it's something that I think you would have picked up on, right? It comes from that Ares mentality, that military mentality, where it's like you do your operations, you do what you're told, and you come back successful or die. Like, just get it done. So
Yeah.
he obviously doesn't really think much of anybody,
Yep.
except maybe his higher ups, I'm sure.
Voltar, this entire time when you guys are, I'm guessing, whispering to each other or side chatting with each other, she's kind
No,
of.
he all he does, he just sends Deliverance the info, but I'm sure they're all speaking out loud.
verbally.
I mean, he's not like withholding it from you. It's just, it seems like it's more relevant to Deliverance.
That's fine. Voltar kind of. She seems a little bit lost. She doesn't really know what to do in this situation, especially she doesn't really know what to say next. She also looks very ashamed, either because she's putting her friends in danger, whatever, or rather, most likely that she's more worried that you two don't believe her. And she kind of looks up and looks at Fritz and just simply asks, "Can you find information on Minerva?" "I know this is not important, but that's all I can think of currently."
I can do my best.
"Thank you."
And he'll just look at Archivist. Well, first he's gonna do just a jump into the net to see if there's anything there, and then he'll ask Archivist.
Hey, thanks for the Twitch subscription.
Yes.
3 months.
Hey, hey, Doug. Thanks for the
What's
Twitch
this
Prime.
guy doing here?
Alright.
Yeah, I will do a
Sure. Give
A
me a
matrix
hacking.
search. So that's 12. Okay. I was like 14. I'm like, no, that's the fucking gun twins from season 1. 5 successes on the search.
Okay. Let's see. So, I think it's. All right. I'll say the one thing that's in my head, and I want chat to further embellish. Minerva still lives inside of the Ares headquarters. She did remarry. She still maintains a position of prestige, so you can immediately see that there is obviously there must be some kind of power plays between the two still, based off of what her thing is about. She there was a prenup on the divorce, so they were able to kind of just split their assets, as fairly. Didn't really seem to affect them very much. You notice that she was the one. So this is where I want chat to add all this extra information. So okay. Chat, let's say, who did Minerva remarry inside of Ares, and what's her position in Ares?
Make it good.
Yeah, and let's start with those two questions, and then if anybody has any bonus details that might be interesting, let's see. In terms of a competing soldier program that is more. I like that. I like that a lot. I'm gonna take that from Cole. Yes. So Minerva is related to the soldier program Firewatch.
What is Soldier Program Firewatch, may I ask?
Firewatch is a famed unit that is specifically designed to go into bug hives and exterminate them.
Makes sense.
Exterminate. Daleks. That's what they are. I just pictured Daleks with flamethrowers. Exterminate.
Oh, you guys are throwing top names of who she's
dude.
marrying.
Is Arthur Vogel even still alive? I thought he died.
He is dead.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
He has to be. The only reason I say that is because one of the Shadowrun games I played, we actually had a mission to kill him. And I was like, and I think our GM said that this is actually like canon in the actual universe.
Right, yeah, that he's dead.
Yeah. So in my head, I just imagine my Shadowrunner killing him because I actually did the job.
In December 2079, Arthur Vogel is listed as missing and presumed dead after explosions destroy several floors of the Ares Macrotechnology HQ building in downtown Detroit during an emergency board meeting that he had just called.
That's not how I killed him.
The more you know.
That's not how I killed him.
So she wouldn't be married to him for sure.
She could have
been,
been
though.
married. And is
She remarried.
She remarried
a second time.
Right.
She's currently a widow. Maybe she's behind the whole thing.
Oh my god.
Currently under probation.
Firewatch's team's misdeployment. That's interesting.
As chat is thinking, I'd like to share my story of how I killed Arthur Vogel because I am actually very proud of it. I was a poisoner in my 5e campaign. And we were in the building because he was being held up in a hospital, and we don't know why. He was there. He was in critical condition, and we were there, and we were like, we should get the hell out of here. And I was basically like, we're already in the building. I'm just gonna do my magic on this person at the front desk and walk past them. And so I made up this story, and I conned my way in, basically saying that I was related to him in some way, and I just wanted to see him. And the nurse allowed me to do so. And I made up the whole thing of just give me space, type of thing. And then I put a needle into his elbow and arm quarter, where they normally put the IV.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't look like anything happened, and we walked out of there without a problem. And then the next day, he was dead.
Nice. Shadowrun, black trench coat.
Yeah, well,
Not what we do here.
I'm very proud of it.
Black trench coat, and then Cannon is like, black trench coat? Nah.
Yeah, explosions.
So yeah,
So was there a name for the competing soldier program? That Minerva?
Yeah, Firewatch.
Okay, so it is Firewatch. Okay, I thought that was an example.
Oh my
Boom.
god!
Thanks for all the biddies.
Yes.
Stoof.
Thank you.
That's a lot of bits.
Right. So I'll say that, so she oversees Firewatch. She's one of the heads of the unit. I don't want to say like she is the main. She's probably some kind of.
She is a voice in the operation, but isn't the voice.
I could say maybe she's. You know what? I'm gonna add that she is R&D.
What's R&D?
Research and development. So
okay.
She is in charge of researching and developing different technologies to counteract the bug spirits that she sends out for Firewatch to do.
Thanks for that sub too.
Yes, thanks. Holy shit. Yeah. We're like 90 away from killing the stream boss. Do it. Okay.
Do it.
So
murder it.
And I guess I'll take that she was married to Arthur Vogel. That just means I get to read up more on his story because obviously I don't know.
Yeah, cool stuff.
All right, so she was married to Arthur Vogel. She's currently a widow.
Where is that? Oh,
presumed widow.
Right.
It's right
I
here.
wonder how many Shadowrun teams have killed him.
Yeah, that is type of. Never really thought of that.
So.
What else can we add to describe her?
I think that's enough for now, and we can just kind of take it from there. Hey, Digitali, thank you.
Sniped it.
Boom, snipe.
Is that an edge?
Yes, that is an edge. Everyone get an edge.
See,
thank you.
See buff stuff. You just gotta instead of being like math, you just throw all your money. So now when you now give us more money,
see, there you go.
You'll
You're
know
learning.
specifically what to. Yeah,
you're learning.
Cool. So with that, so now you have this information about Minerva.
Yeah, he will.
And she is listed to be one of the people relocating to Atlanta.
Yeah, he will give that information to Voltar. And then when he'll send that over and let her ponder it, and then he looks to Archivist and he shows the information and he says, "What am I missing from this? What information is there you have that isn't here?"
Well, if you want me to deep dive more, darling, I can, but then we're talking about going into Private Aries files. This is everything that I was able to dig up based on all of our associates' research.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a picture of Minerva?
Yes.
Like when... Okay.
Yeah. I'll leave chat to describe what Minerva looks like.
Go for it, chat.
But let's see, she would probably be, because Colton is like, what, 60s?
It's Colton with a wig.
Colton is like in his 50s or 60s, right? So she'd probably be around that same age.
Yep.
I'd say youngest would be 40s. Yeah. 45. 45, I think, would be the youngest. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Chat, describe her, please.
So yeah, so this picture of a picture of Minerva is alongside the file. Vogel is not a spring chicken, you know. Yeah, he was an old man. Those marriages of convenience, you know.
Yeah, maybe she really loved the guy too. You never know.
Probably not.
Whoa.
I ain't seen you a gold digger.
She ain't messing with no broke Colton.
Oh, God.
Wait, so Archivist what was the issue? Archivist needed to dive into
that. Basically,
Aries.
all of the so Archivist, the way that it works is all of the technomancers that are basically consider it their paragon. They feed the information, pass it on to Archivist, which collects it, and then it's basically like this big library, right? So any job that technomancers have done that have Archivist as a paragon will be archived. So this is what is currently available, right? All of the I keep saying she, but because it has kind of a female voice in my head, but it's a matrix entity.
It has a female persona.
Archivist is a repository more than it is a researcher. It allows you to research easier, which is why you have those bonuses on research. But she will Archivist provides everything that you need. That from what is available in the library. So if you want to find out more, you find out more, and then that gets added to the library for other technomancers.
I was seeing if Archivist had more. So the other information I just received was already from the library. Because I was trying to see what was on was on like the Matrix, like just like regular searching, and then what Archivist had like held away. Yeah,
if you wanted to just look along regular Matrix stuff, you'd find all kinds of glowing articles and reviews. She's one of the top in her field. Designed various prototypes that have brought Aries, consumer success, as well as advanced it in the both military and aerospace fields. So, and yeah, just lots of no scandals basically, but lots of good PR for her.
I haven't been listening. I'm sorry. I have picked the description for Minerva.
Ooh,
And I kind of feel like that teacher in kindergarten where I'm like, oh, your ideas are so good, because I took literally everyone's. I took basically Cole. I took Cole for red hair, Caucasian skin, blue eyes, serious face with strong cheekbones. I took Allie's, Digital Allie. She's starting to gray. She has crow's feet. She's smiling in the picture. She's weathered, but from how she carries herself, you really wouldn't know. I took Soy Mages where she's in a suit of Mortimer of London with a pair of gloves, because that just looks badass to me. And then I took Eric de Mages where she has a cyber arm. And I'd like to imagine that cyber arm can turns into like a fucking gun or some shit, because that would be badass.
I love this. I love the specific thing with Soy Mage. So she wears gloves to not touch people. So like
very
she's
cool.
just like, and she's like, someone's like, nice to meet you, and she's like, yeah.
And actually, you know what? Let's add a couple of extra things there.
Yeah, please.
Because I just realized now that she has a cyber arm, since she was originally married to the director of biotechnology, I would imagine that a lot of her successes in the Ares company came in the development of cyberware and bioware as well. So, and then those creations, which they're both credited for, Colton and Minerva. They were like this power couple basically that were designing all of these things.
The dream couple.
Right. Well, those got, for whatever reason, like basically he stayed as director of biotechnology. She got pulled into Firewatch.
Could have been better for her position too. It could have been ending up basically they had a discussion of, look, this is better for the both of us. I'm probably getting extra pay, blah blah blah. It's just moving up at the company, and he probably was just salty about it.
Now, I will not tell you how to live your life, Volta, for that is your decision to make. I will, however, propose some information for you to work on when you make your decision. And that is that through all this information, there is zero indication that Minerva knows that you exist.
She doesn't. My father told me that.
Oh, wait, no, stop. Okay, hold on.
How?
Yeah. Okay, so,
I was told that. That's all I remember.
No, I think what he...
Unless I remember it differently?
The reason that one of the things that he mentioned caused their divorce was that you went missing and they couldn't take it anymore. But it doesn't necessarily mean that she doesn't know you're alive, depending on what kind of communications they have. He's never mentioned anything like that. But anyway, I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
But with the given information, it looks like they split, and
she
Fritz
has no idea.
Is a parent, and if the parent knew that their child was being turned into a fucking cyber soldier, I think there would be some mention of it, you know?
Yeah. They definitely would have. Yeah, they probably would have spoken about it.
Right. So he says, It is safe to work off the assumption that she does not know, and that you do not look like her children anymore. And whether or not that is a pain you'd like to reignite for your mother is one thing. I understand the desire to see her if you have that, but I just wanted to, from the perspective of a parent, offer that point of view to you for whatever move you make next.
You are a parent?
Not anymore.
I am sorry.
More pressing matters at the moment.
I could tell, however, that you were one. I just didn't want to believe it.
Thought I was a father because I was a hard ass? Well, think again, I'm German. It comes with the title.
Deliverance laughs at that. And it's the first thing she's said in a while. She says, you know what, I will meet y'all in the, at the rendezvous point. I have something I have to do. But I'm going ahead with this. I don't see myself having a choice, so forward me all the information if you can, alright?
We might have a choice. It
What do you mean?
depends. She may not want to see me, but if she has the information that something happened to her only children, she would want to know. At least I think I would.
Of course she wants to know.
This could cause something. She could confront Colton about it. I don't know if it would do anything for us, but it might help.
I don't see where that leaves me. All she cares about is you. What I'm worried about is my family.
I believe that if we... I will be plain when speaking when I say that you and I are on a timer with Ares. Copper's not going to keep us alive, and you can assume that us working for him is not going to change that. That is our only way of staying safe, is if we understand that. So our only defense here is to find information from Ares that could keep him from acting on something like that. So, my opinion is that the best line of defense is to gather information from Ares itself to save you and your family.
We would have to do it fast. I bet she would even have information on Colton himself. Ran out of breath there, Jesus.
Also, Voltar, something that you would know is, in order to get proper leverage on people like this, like high ups in Ares, you're talking corporate espionage. Like, you need, like, the headquarters, somewhere in there is the information that whatever political or scientific ethical boundaries have been crossed, you will probably find information there. Hidden, of course, off the matrix, because that's the other thing. A lot of that information is going to be kept, filed, secret, safe, away from hackers. So, like, it would have to be one of those physically infiltrate, then hack from within. And
Walter will she'll kind of stand up from her virtual chair and kind of kick her feet, push it in. This is a choice for you two. Whatever you two choose, I will follow. We can either do this mission that we have been asked, or rather forced, or we can go to Ares headquarters inside their building at the top. In there, we can find files on information. There has to be information on anything and everything. After that, I'm sure that Fritz, you could hack some of their programs inside. I have faith in your abilities. I would rather do this than go up against bug things. I am good with my hands and fists, but at this point, I would rather help you two than my father. And that past is literally deleted from my memory. I do not wish to see bugs that size.
Yeah, and you get like this, and as you say it, you don't know what it is, but you actually feel foreboding and fear. It's like something that literally just made you just made you sick, just saying the word, but you don't even know why, because you don't remember why.
I have the information on all of Voltar's implants.
You do?
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was-
you gave
that
him
was-
access.
Oh yeah, I
was-
gave it to him.
Right. Well, not only do I have access to it, but when Archivist was giving me information, like all of that is like updated on, I'm assuming like an Ares database, and I had like all that info as well.
Yeah.
Does she have like a bug, like a plant, or would that just be her? Would that just be her comlink?
If she had a bug or a plant, it wouldn't be on file.
Right.
Eavesdropping.
That's a very good point. When I have
However,
scanned her a billion times, have I
Especially-
found any weird?
well, I mean, consider that you've seen through her cyber eyes before, so it's not out of the question that Ares designed cyber eyes don't have some kind of backdoor for tech support to assist with any software related concerns.
Would high voltage cause any malfunctions in that area?
Your cyber eyes seem to be working fine.
That's true.
I see what you're getting at.
Yeah.
And if they didn't run fine, I mean, you need your cyber eyes to be able to see. So
Yeah.
you would have gotten them fixed even if they had malfunction. At that moment, the Matrix TVs inside of the bowling alley, I'll spend a plot point for this, turn on, and it's news. It's a news conference with the mayor of Detroit, James Bloodworthy, who you had
Pizza truck.
interest against. Yeah.
What a dick.
Standing at a podium, declaring that Ares military has joined with the UCAS military. Or basically, like, Ares military personnel, their elite military personnel, have joined forces with UCAS military, and the city is now officially under martial law.
Oh shit. I should probably not be out of the base. Oh no, it was a supervised outing.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, God.
And then that cuts out to the Motown hacktivists, the faceless hacktivists with their voice distortions, stating, "This is only the beginning." And then the voice of Ziggy. Hold on. I had this. The voice of Ziggy saying... Shit. I had a really good quote. Here we go. "The only way to deals with the unfree world is to be so absolutely free that just Vari's existence is rebellion."
Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh my god. So Superman is kind of like staring off into the distance as this happens. And his face is a mask of like concern. He only really comes with like 3 expressions.
3 emotes.
And yeah, and one of them is like, and she says, "I'm sorry, I really do have to go. They're gonna be coming to collect me soon."
Do you need help, Deliverance?
Nope, I'll be fine. I will rendezvous with you. I mean, let's take these bastards down. We'll use Minerva, we'll use everything we have to, but I can't live like this anymore. I have to go. And she shuts down and leaves the bowling alley.
I just imagine, like, so-and-so has logged out. Like,
Yeah, she logs out, and she
Pixels.
is in, like, kind of like an abandoned, like, internet cafe kind of thing. And has been using this, like, fading connection, shitty connection, and she comes with the Matrix and like rubs her head and steadies herself on the wall and takes a deep breath, and she reaches into her jacket and she takes out two things that she always carries with her, and for one of these I have to spend a plot point because she has her Civil War, I can't remember the number, the penance, the origin story of penance,
The comic book.
and also her focus, the comic focus, alongside a cred stick. And my plot point is that she sold Action Comics #1, and through some back channels at a fraction of its price in order to remain anonymous. And she holds it with her at all times. And she is going to go out to the streets of Detroit. She's already left her little bus tour behind. Not tour, yeah.
to your left.
To your left, you'll see.
Ares military. Like,
And she is going to look for anywhere where there has recently been rioting. What she's looking for are dead bodies.
shit.
It's not hard to find. There are countless dead bodies in or around Oakland County where you live, and in front of your old comic book store, Route 66, which has been the shutters were rolled down, but they've been attempted to be smashed in, graffitied over. Essentially, the store is relatively safe, but there has been massive amounts of damage, and you see your assistant for Route 66 riddled with bullet holes. I believe his name is David.
No, not David. Not the
David.
David
teenager.
Anderson.
No.
Oh, David.
Thanks for those
She
bits.
Thank you, Snow.
she walks up and stands in front of this face, and she looks down at David, and her usually very expressive face is hard. And I'm gonna spend another plot point. She kind of hunts around for a bit. She sort of casts her eyes around on the ground, and she sees a woman, looks roughly like her, about her same age, and she nods and she goes, "Perfect." And she's gonna call Nomad.
And I think on that, we're going to take a 10-minute break.
Yeah.
10-minute break.
We've been doing 10-minute
That's a
breaks
lot of
lately.
pee.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of a lot of pee, I gotta go. So, see you guys in 10 minutes. Stay tuned.
That was snazzy, Scrim.